Last week we talked about the 5 places to invest in. This week we're diving into how to maximize the rental income of each unit. So Will,
Yep.
you own buildings in London and in Toronto.
Yes.
So what I'd like to do today is we're going to go to and list off the 10 ways to best increase your rental income. But we're going to reference what that item is going to do specifically to your London buildings and Toronto.
All right. Yeah.
And let's start off with number 10. Let's go.
Number 10, internet. Now, you might be wondering how we came up with some of these numbers. Andre and I have a great deal of experience with more than, well, thousands of tenants really, in terms of how we've come up with these actual hard prices for these different things. So number 10, internet, we expect $25 a month if you're looking in the London, Ontario market, and upwards of $50 a month in Toronto. Because really it's pretty straightforward. You're now providing a utility to a tenant that they don't have to pay for. So quite easily you just tack that onto the rent.
Number 9, fireplaces. So picture this, you walk into a room and the ambience is set. The fireplace is on, it's crackling, it's giving off heat, or it's just a natural light that gives off that energy. So you want to set the mood, and this really does. When it comes to tenant profile, they want to see fireplaces. So how much does this offer? Well, it offers in London and in Toronto roughly about the same amount, $50 per month extra. Now, could you get more? Yes, you can. If you tried to rent it out in the dead of winter, it's cold outside, you walk in and you see a gorgeous fireplace, you might get more.
Number 8, dishwashers. People pay for convenience. So in a place like London, okay, you're getting around $50 a month. In a place like Toronto, upwards of $100 per month. Not really much more to say about it, but really it makes a big difference for people just to have this here.
Number 7, air conditioning. Now, you might be thinking, AC, is it a big deal or is it not? Well, on a day like today, we're in the middle of a heat wave. If we were showing this apartment that we're standing in to a potential tenant, what would they say walking into a place that had AC versus one that did not? Well, 1, they would feel the difference automatically. And 2, they probably wouldn't even care what the place looked like to a certain extent. They would automatically be drawn toward the one that had AC, okay? So now, as for how much does it bring value? Well, in London, it brings you roughly about $100 per month. In Toronto, it's been upwards of $200 a month. But I do want to stress one point. It's kind of like a necessity. If you don't have AC, you are not going to be drawing in the amount of prospects to your unit at all. So I think this is sort of a necessity. Whether it brings you $100 or $200 more, you need to have AC.
Number 6, laundry. Ensuite laundry is a big deal to tenants and they're willing to pay for the convenience. Right now, you might be able to tell that I'm actually in a laundry room where it's coin-op. So even though I preach ensuite laundry, it's something that you should consider. Sometimes it makes sense to keep these. We ran the numbers and decided the coin-op versus the ensuite laundry in the London market, it was going to be more or less a trade-off. So we kept it as is. In Toronto though, $100 to $200 per month for laundry.
Number 5, parking. Now, parking can have a different variation. Let me explain. When it comes to people looking for rentals, they might not even look at your rental if it doesn't have parking. But there's a difference. London, people won't even give it an evaluation. It might not be worth anything to them. They might just expect parking to be included in their rent. But in Toronto, it's much different. Parking can be valued up to $300 per spot. Huge difference in demand and supply. So if you want to look for parking, you want to create value, parking is the way to go.
Number 4, outdoor space. So this can bring in a lot of rent in a lot of different ways. If we're talking about a balcony versus a terrace versus a backyard, if you're thinking a balcony, we've got a place in Toronto where we added a rooftop deck just to get an extra $300 per month in rent. We also have their backyard where we're able to put a barbecue and a few other things, great for places that have pets. And then when you've got terrace, it's the same thing. It's some outdoor space people can enjoy even if they're in a high rise. So generally speaking, you're looking at anywhere from $100 to $300. So $100 in London, $300 in Toronto for outdoor space.
Number 3, open concept. Now we want to create a wow factor here. Let me explain. When we're walking into this kitchen, before this unit was renovated, there was walls that closed off this kitchen to the living room. Now there's a perceived value here. When you are closing off the walls, you are living in your typical apartment style building. But when you open it up, there's a condo style that is provided here, and people are willing to pay a premium for that. Anywhere from $200 to $400. Roughly, that's $200 in London, up to $400 in Toronto.
All right, number 2, modernization. Believe it or not, we're actually standing in an apartment that was built in 1961. My hope is that it doesn't look like an apartment that was built in 1961. We've redone a lot of things, everything from the floor, where we've replaced it with vinyl plank flooring, to the kitchen. As you know, we've blown out the wall, but we put in stone countertops, upgraded the kitchen, stainless steel appliances, all of these things, and not even just the hardware here, upgraded the door handles as well as things like the light switches. All these little things make a difference, and not only do they make a difference there, they make a difference in the bottom line. London, we're talking about $500 per month. Toronto, upwards of $1,000 per month.
And the number 1 way to maximize your rental income is
a bedroom. So the more bedrooms you can get, the more money you're going to get. It's really simple, and depending on how you view things, you're really looking at the layout, and you're finding ways to get rid of walls and add those extra bedrooms.
Or even add walls, because in your bachelor, for example, you added a bedroom by just separating the large living room and kitchen, and you made it into a bit of a smaller unit, but there's a proper bedroom, and you were able to fetch how much more per month?
About $1,500 more per month. Just for the bedroom.
And that's in Toronto. Now, how about we're in London? How much more did you get when you added a second bedroom to one of your 1-bedroom units?
You're upwards of $1,000 per month more per unit.
Oh, there you go. And honestly, that is the number 1 way to maximize your rental income. So there you have it, the top 10 tips on how to maximize your rental income.
And next week, we're going to talk about how to squeeze out even more from your rental property. And what is that episode going to be about?
Airbnb.
Oh, yeah.